Hello and welcome to a new video. Today is October the 16th. I am still slowly working my way through my Inktober project. I am really enjoying it and I can't believe how productive I've been. It's a few days since I have recorded anything actually. I've got my sketchbook here in front of me, but I have been slowly sketching things out. I've not had a massive amount of time to do art, not with working, and I had a day trip with my aunt as well. We went to the theatre to see the ballet, which was really nice. Doing things like school runs and yeah, juggling family life. So it's really nice that this afternoon I have got a couple of hours where I can just sit down and paint, and I'm so looking forward to it. But I want to show you what I've done so far, and I definitely have some catching up to do. I'm looking at just keeping the process going over October. So yeah, just keeping the momentum going over October, just trying to draw every day, and even if it's just sketching out a design that I can then come back to and paint or colour later. And then November, the first couple of weeks, I'm going to go back and sort of finish off all of my spreads. But I'm so pleased with how much work I've managed to do, because over the summer I barely got time to make any art, and it's just, it just brings me so much joy. I love it. So let me show you. So day 15 was dandelion, and you can just about see some faint pencil sketches here of dandelions, dandelion leaves. I'm really keen to paint this in gouache. Monday I didn't actually get a chance to sketch anything. Sunday I did these eucalyptus leaves, so again it's going to be so nice to just go in and paint. I've really fallen in love with the process of gouache, just painting, layering things up, playing around with kind of watercolour effects, which has been really nice. So this was Saturday hydrangea, which, I mean, I've only just started. Friday the 11th was fish. Thursday the 10th was poppy, and again I have just sketched out kind of the outlines and a few details that I can then go in and paint. I've also got my watercolour sets that I could have a go. Quite tempted to do these in watercolour just to see how they turn out. I'm layering things up with coloured pencil as well. And where are we at here? These are feathers, which again I've sketched out on day 9. So yeah, and I'm kind of thinking about how all of these motifs are going to fit into my future work, and I'm really gaining confidence, I think, in the shapes, the motifs, the different elements as well. Like fish is not usually something I would draw, but yeah, I was just really pleased with how they came out and almost dreamlike. And I think my work can be quite whimsical, so that does fit in quite well. I'm definitely loving working on leaves as well, because I always do the same basic vine leaf. I just default to that, so it's quite nice to try some different shapes, and I think it's going to make my work much more interesting in the long run. So yeah, today is Wednesday, nice blank page, so let's make some art. Hello, today is day 17. Let me have a check. Yeah, 17th of October. I want to show you what I did yesterday. I really enjoyed my painting session. I got out my inks first of all, and then I used gouache and painted leaves. And then I went in with my pencil over the top to add in details. But I have to tell you, I'm really sad about my inks. Let me show you. So this texture here is how my ink has turned out, and I did add quite a bit of water to it, so the page was very wet, but it looks so dull. I can't believe it. When I first did this page here, the pink looks so beautiful. I was really pleased with how the ink kind of spattered across the page and it looked gorgeous, and this just looks so dull. So I also pulled out yesterday a moleskine sketchbook, and this is mainly watercolour, but let me show you here. This is the ink here, so it should be a really beautiful, like rich turquoise, and even this page actually hasn't taken it that well. I mean, it has bled through a bit. I'll show you the bleed through in my pith. But yeah, I just really thought the pith paper was a lot better than it is for wet media. So yeah, seeing as how pale this looks, oh sorry, seeing as how pale this is here, this is kind of the lovely rich blue it should be. and have now ordered another sketchbook just to play around with different papers. Also, let me show you the bleed through, which was horrendous. Look at the bleed through here. Just, I mean, I did add a lot of water. It's bled through here as well. This was my dandelion page where I've just sketched out in pencil the motifs, and I'm going to paint over the top anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But what I've done for today's page, I've already prepped the paper. I mean, you can see a tiny bit there where it's basically bled through this page and onto this page, tiny little bit. I should have shown you really beforehand, but I've basically just coated it in gouache. So yeah, I'm really sad because these are like my favourite sketchbooks ever, and I think I'm realising I've pushed it too far, really, as far as wet medium goes. I mean, for things like this is watercolour, it's beautiful. If you're using a bit of wet media, then it's fine. Like, this is gorgeous for gouache as well. Lovely smooth paper, so it's perfect for gouache. And here, especially like going over the top with pencils, really pleased with these. But yeah, I'm really shocked actually at like how, I don't know, how terrible the inks look. So yeah, I think when this new sketchbook comes, we'll do a little test in that as well and see what that looks like. And this might even change my mind as to what sketchbook I want to work in the future, or maybe I'll have more of a really wet media sketchbook and then one for more like gouache motifs and painting. So I still love this sketchbook. I still love that it lays totally flat like it does here, if you can see there. I mean, it's just, nothing else comes close to this in my eyes. If you have any recommendations for sketchbooks that maybe have watercolour paper, actually, let me know. But I do love the smooth, I love the smooth finish instead of like the texture. So I don't know, just feel a little bit sad about that. But I mean, I'm quite pleased with the leaves that I did. Again, just finding my confidence with gouache, so I'm really happy with these. And this was a huge surprise. I really love this page, so I might do some more kind of splattery, just like it was watercolour, just sploshing watercolour on, and then I just added in a little bit of the ink. So I might do some more experiments in my moleskine. This has kind of become like a test place, really. Yeah, testing sketchbook, so it's quite nice that I can just throw things at it and not really care. Anyway, today's day 17. Today is October 17th. I'm actually going to my nan's house today to sit with her for the day. So I'm going to take my drawing stuff, my paints, and hopefully get some art done there. Good morning. Today is Tuesday the 22nd of October. I haven't filmed in a few days. I am a little bit behind now, but that's okay because today I've literally got 4 hours. Yeah, 4 hours. I'm just going to paint all day. I mean, I've got loads of other jobs I should be doing, but it's my day off from work. So I'm just going to enjoy painting. I didn't sleep very well last night. I've been worrying about things, just random things really, you know, life stuff, just trying to cope with life. And I find that when I'm having a down day, one of my favourite things to do, is to put on a film and just paint and kind of get out of my head and get into the process. And this is really where my art practice comes into its own. This is where it doesn't really matter even what you're painting or drawing. I just find that, you know, enjoying the process, just playing around, is so helpful, and it really helps to shift my mentality as well when I'm kind of, I don't know, feeling a bit delicate, I guess. So I'm just going to be gentle with myself today, and I'm going to choose a prompt and sketch something out and just enjoy painting today without trying to overthink things. I'm definitely an overthinker. So yeah, I want to try and shift out of my head and yeah, get into the kind of play zone. So let's do some painting. Okay, I've had loads of fun here with my watercolours, just splurging them down on the page. I used a little bit of this ink as well that I've been using, muted green. That's what this is, and the gorgeous patterns here that kind of feather outwards. I just wanted to show you a little bit of a haul of things that I have recently got. So I decided to delve a little bit more into the world of inks, and I have got this, which will be really nice for doing details. So I mean, I really like doing intricate details and intricate drawings, and I thought these would be fun to get some nice marks on the page. I also bought some Indian ink, Jackson's Indian ink, permanent, light fast, and dries to a water resistant film. So I'm going to test this out and see how it is. I've also put it here in this mug, mainly because I know that I'm really clumsy and I do not want to spill this whole bottle everywhere. So I'm just going to pop that in there when I take the lid off, and then hopefully it means I can't knock it over. So yeah, just a little tip there. But yeah, so let's delve in. What this is like. I think it could do with a shake, to be honest. Let's give it a shake first. I thought it'd be darker. Is it meant to be like this? Maybe I'm so used to acrylic ink. I don't know. Maybe I'll use the acrylic ink. I think I need to have a bit more of a play with these inks, to be honest. Okay, please don't knock this over. Let's put that in there. Oh yeah, that's nice. I think it would be nice to get a black one of these, the Liquitex acrylic inks. But this looks really beautiful. I'm just playing today. I've decided to kind of let go of any motif ideas and just play with colour. I might paint into this as well. Oh, I love that. Look at these lines. This is beautiful. Gives a really organic feel. Be quite nice to try and draw with this, I think. It's quite nice holding it at the end as well to kind of let go of that sense of control. I'm a massive control freak in kind of all areas of my life, to be honest. So it's quite nice to try and loosen up. I'm not the best at loosening up. But yeah, that's quite fun. Okay, I want to talk to you about my inks, liquitex inks. I really love these. I've only just started working with them and I thought it would be nice to kind of compare. So obviously I did this spread and I was a bit disappointed with how this blue turned out. It's this one here, the muted turquoise. So I did add a lot of water to the page, and yeah, it just didn't come out as vibrant as I wanted, and it bled through as well, which I was a little bit sad about. So I decided I would try some different papers in case it was my pith sketchbook. But what's this one? I think this is Bristol paper. Okay, this is mixed media paper. 250 grams mixed media paper. This is the Strathmore watercolour, I think it is, or mixed media sketchbook. That looks very similar to me. And then this is my moleskine, but this is mainly watercolours, and this bit here is the ink. So this was the muted turquoise, and on here I used the muted green. And I have to say, out of all four, if we include this one, I think I prefer the moleskine. So I think as well, they are the muted colours, so maybe that's just the colour that they are and they're not going to come out as vibrantly as I thought they would. So I think it's time to kind of swatch these. So I'm going to swatch them in here and in my pith, and then I can compare kind of how they've come out. So let's do that. Okay, so I have turned to the back of my pith sketchbook. The other day I swatched out all of my coloured pencils, which was really helpful, and then tried to almost like group them together in colours, just because I get this urge sometimes to buy more supplies, but I don't actually know what I've already got, so you end up buying duplicates or colours that are very similar. And also it's easy to just look for new things instead of actually going through all of the supplies you already have. So I'm going to swatch that in the back of the pith and also here in the back of the moleskine as well. So I'm just going to do them side by side here, and I need a brush. What have we got here? Right, so I'm going to start with the muted turquoise. And literally dab a bit on there, dab a bit on there, and then maybe fan this out a bit. So this is barely any water. I mean, look at that. Look how rich that colour is. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, I could add more water to this there. Let's add some more water to this as well. So this is really interesting because I really love the pith sketchbook, but it's doing something a little bit weird with the paper. I'm actually going off of this straight away, preferring the moleskine, which is my second favourite sketchbook, but I'm just in love with the pith, so I'm a little bit sad that potentially, I don't know, maybe I'm moving away from the pith a little bit. Maybe it would just become my gouache sketchbook. That would be quite nice. So again, here we've got the muted green, and this is definitely way more muted than I was expecting. I really love a fresh, gorgeous green. So it would be nice to get some more, and then I can sample some more colours. And I do also have the magenta. This is such a gorgeous pink, so let's just whack that in here as well. It's very different to what we've already got, but seeing as we're sampling all of my inks, which is just 3, I've really discovered that I love it so much as well. I really love working in ink, and this is something I'd love to use more of in my work. So it would be nice to get some more colours. I definitely want a fresh green and maybe some sort of ochre yellow. I think that would be nice, and it would go well with everything really. Can you see here how this sinks in straight away? Let's have a look. These sink right in to the paper and leave this almost like, it looks like sand or salt has been on top of it, whereas this is a much smoother finish, but it almost sits on top of the paper. I don't know, maybe that's just initial reactions. I'm going to see how these dry and then we can come back to them and compare them in a bit. But so far, I have to say, I think the moleskin, for me personally, seems to hold the colour better. Wow, well, that's gone really well, and at the same time I'm really sad. So I did swatch in the pith. I also swatched in the moleskin, which is this one. I decided as well to swatch both the other two. So this is the mixed media paper, 250 grams, and this one is my Strathmore mixed media sketchbook. So just these two as well. They're pretty much on a par, I would say. They're still slightly wet. But the pink, look how vibrant the pink is. I think the Strathmore maybe just beats it. I think that might be the best one out of these two. But I'm quite tempted by the idea of making my own sketchbook out of this paper. I want to then compare these two here as well and show you up close, and this is why I'm really sad, because I think the pith, this is the most muted that they come out. I don't think it's held the ink very well at all, and look at that pink especially there in comparison. The pink and the blue, they're just so much more vibrant on the moleskin page, so I'm quite sad about that. I do love moleskin though, but I'm tempted now when I finish my current sketchbook to go back to a moleskin, or like I said, potentially make myself a sketchbook using the mixed media paper. I do like this paper, the Strathmore, but it's got a very slight watercolor grain to it. I think it's dried really nicely actually. I think it's held the ink really well, and these are a bit more pricey. So I don't know, maybe in the future I will get a Strathmore. What's your favourite one? Which one do you think has worked the best? I definitely think the pith is the last in the queue, which I'm sad about. But yeah, it is hard to tell for me, I think, between the moleskin here and it quite possibly is the Strathmore, to be honest. But yeah. But yeah, definitely worth trying the same supplies on different papers, whatever it may be, just to see how the paper takes it. And some of them, it surprised me how much the ink sunk straight into the paper. The Strathmore was like that actually, versus this one where the ink kind of sat more on top on the surface before it dried. But yeah, with the pith, it just kind of sunk straight in. Whereas here on the moleskin, it sort of sat more on the surface. So yeah, just interesting, more things to play with, which is always fun. But yeah, I'm definitely inspired to make myself a sketchbook in the future. So watch this space. Oh, before I go as well, I just want to show you any bleed through. There is an artwork on the back of this, but no bleed through on the mixed media paper. Also no bleed through on the Strathmore, which is really nice. Again, there is ink on the back though, but there was sadly some bleed through on the moleskin, a little bit there. So you can see where I've really dabbed a lot on, and I already know that this hasn't actually bled through on here, which is quite nice. But when I used it previously and I added a lot of water, I think that's the key, is if you've added a lot of water, then that did bleed through horribly on here. So yeah, interesting. So maybe that's made the mixed media paper pip this to the post a little bit. Something to be aware of. Anyway, I think we'll end that here for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you very soon for another Inktober video. Lots of love. Bye.